This group of bluefin tuna has been swimming north in the Mediterranean Sea for almost a month. But they've had some help. They travel at about 2 kilometers per hour inside a transport pool, guided by a tugboat towards their new home in the town of La Metlla de Mar, in Tarragona, Spain. Here, these professionals work at an aqua farming facility that is a world-class pioneering model among companies that raise bluefin tuna. They're the new sea farmers, the hope and the guarantee for this giant to continue being a valuable and accessible resource, just as it has been on these coasts for centuries. The first order of business is to give them the proper reception. The transport pool has to be joined to one of the fixed pools, which are bigger and more secure. In a moment, these sea cowboys prepare to enter the pool and make sure the animals have arrived in perfect shape. They secure the lines because this tuna fattening farm is 2.5 miles east of the port of La Metlla de Mar, in the middle of the sea. And when the sea gets rough, the pools are tossed around with great force. Everything should be prepared for the new guests, so that they can find themselves in as close an environment to home as possible. Thanks to that, they adapt immediately and can recuperate from their voyage. We shouldn't forget that they've just reproduced, which requires a great deal of effort, and that they will soon regain their voracious appetite. The next thing to do is to transfer the tuna from the pool in which they arrived to their final facility. Once the door between the two has been opened, the sea cowboys try to direct them towards it, but it's not easy to tell a giant what it has to do. When the most daring cross the threshold, the rest don't take long to follow. Immediately, the entrance must be closed again. To do that, they fill buoys with air to raise the nets and sew it again. Being a sea shepherd is a difficult and specialized task, a task in which this particular farm is a world-class pioneer. It is the future. Up above, biologists and observers from various fishing control organizations certify that the whole process strictly complies with international standards that guarantee transparency and protocols established by law. Once they've settled into their new home and have adapted, the bluefin tuna begin to get hungry. They've barely eaten since before reproducing in Balearic waters. Just as they would in their natural habitat, what they need to do now is gain strength and weight. And so, dinner is served. From the service boat, fish are dropped through an enormous tube into the center of the pool. During the first weeks, they're very hungry, and they eat around 4% of their body weight. But they especially regain the fat they lost during the reproductive effort, the very fat that endows their meat with that unique flavor that is so appreciated in today's cooking. They can remain here for a minimum of 4 months and up to over a year, growing between 15 and 100% their size with this natural diet in which they only consume what they would in the wild. Because to do this, this is the only company that is able to supply fresh bluefin tuna to markets 12 months a year. Balfegó's farming facilities can thus adapt sales of bluefin tuna to the demands of their clients, most of whom are foreign. Clients who appreciate a fresh product that can only be obtained by combining a family's fishing tradition with modern techniques that guarantee excellent quality. Once the exact order has been received from the client, the team gets to work so that in just a few hours, they perform the miracle of getting the product from the sea to the final consumer, often on the other side of the world, absolutely fresh. The specimens are chosen one by their size and optimal fat status. A specialist free dives into the pool so as not to disturb the tuna and awaits the chosen one. His mission is to do everything in an instant, which is the only way to guarantee maximum quality. It's not easy, but experience is the key to success. The diver must often come to the surface for air, and he does so moving gently, as if he were one of them. This process differs greatly from the old fishing techniques that produced a great deal of stress in the animal and could thus compromise its quality. Now, everything is different, more humane, quicker, and more effective. Depending on the time of year and the demands of the market, 40 to 50 specimens are extracted daily 3 times a week in this manner. Another of this company's market differences gets underway. The process of traceability. It's a unique practice by which a specific tuna will be endowed with a true identity card so that it arrives to the final consumer with absolutely all its data for anyone who requires it. Traceability is transparency. From the very instant they arrive on the ship, and after being measured, each specimen will be electronically marked with codes that it will keep during the entire process from here to the table. Origin, size, weight, documentation, fat level. Everything is there on its caudal fin. Never again will it be just an anonymous tuna. After it's marked, a sample is taken from the tuna to provide exhaustive data about its fat and quality. Data that allows Balfegó to permanently update research that can determine quality controls and possible improvements in procedures. In this way, the information that the consumer and the public demands can be made public. The Balfegós are the first to market bluefin tuna from the point of origin, electronically marking specimens individually in all of its parts. They're on their way to Lametje de Mar, where they're being waited for so that they can fulfill their mission. Lametje de Mar was founded as a fishing village at the end of the 18th century. From then until now, it has witnessed its sons becoming pioneers in this field, to the extent that this is currently the port in which the only 6 seine fishing boats in all of Spain dock. Our tuna are already here. They have been observed at all times by fishing control organizations that certify the responsibility and transparency of the processing. As they're transported to the facilities, tuna continue to generate quality and stable jobs throughout the year. There's no time to waste. We mustn't forget that this Mediterranean food will mainly be marketed fresh, with all its nutritional qualities intact, and without any other conservation technique than the care of expert hands. Traceability is never lost. The initial mark is immediately substituted by another one upon removal, and it is registered electronically. The samples that were extracted on the boat and whose code identifies each specimen will be evaluated by experts one by one to guarantee its optimal fat level. It is an attitude of constant improvement, and every piece of data is essential to continue researching. Because of this, besides guaranteeing traceability, while the product is prepared for immediate shipment, it constantly generates as much scientific information as in no other place in the world. The best restaurants in the world receive bluefin tuna directly from Le Métier de Mar. It is not only a fisherman's dream, but also a chef's. This delicious food can now be tasted all year, and it can be done so with a clear conscience that we're consuming a product that comes from sustainable fishing. Because the most incredible thing is that our tuna's identity card has accompanied it even to this plate. With just a cell phone and the code that comes with the dish, we can instantly know all of that animal's data anywhere on the planet. Where it was fished, when, by whom. Never before was anything like this ever possible. And the Balfegós have, for the moment, been the only ones capable of doing it. Who could imagine centuries ago that this Mediterranean town, awash in sun and sea, would one day become a world reference point for commitment, efficiency, and responsibility? In Le Métier de Mar, fishermen of the giant bluefin don't arrive at port alone anymore. Their boats carry the future in the form of research and sustainable development. But beyond the sea farm, what's most important is embracing family upon arriving at port. And the pride of a race of fishermen who believe in their work and who continue to look to the future with hope.